Relax. Stop grabbing on my pants leg. I know you want to find my pants. Relax. What did I put in? That don't help me. Like 500 books right here. What's the other one? No, man, we done, nigga. We done. Gasoline, man. All right, I'm gonna share something with y'all. That's background music. It's I just had to use that. Yes, I have Blick. I'll probably use the Blick on laptop. Well, anyway, halito everybody. Halito. I was gonna show you guys, but come to find out, one of them, it's a Spanish group called Reverse. The thing is, the music's not from them. It's a totally. I had to play it like 20 times and listen. It's a 3-hour long video, and these people's song is only like 3-4 minutes. I don't even know how long it is, and so they tagged it with my video. It's not where I got it. You think they would be smarter than that? And the reason why I had to research it, because I know I'm not doing nothing copyright. Like, I'm not doing that. And I talk to the publishers, so when it comes to books, and that amounts to something. I called them back. They said, "Oh no, we said no. It amounts to something. You two don't own us." I was like, "Thank you." A copyright out there does not determine any faculties how anybody moves or they want this stuff. And they said, "Well, if we got to." I was like, "Yeah, I'm already looking at 3 different companies. And I don't want to sit there and be looking for a certain amount. If I was to incur something other than the monetization, I said maybe I will use you guys, on my Patreon." And they said, "Oh, okay. So let us know." So it's 3 publishers that told me straight up, yeah. One out of New York too. And they was like, "Yeah, we'll sponsor you." So, and that's for YouTube staff to watch and pay attention to. I'm not want to create problems, but there's some people you just leave alone. I'm not some young little chitlin running around. I'm damn near 60. All right. And the other thing is, and I studied corporate and business law. So the other part is, I like this music when it comes to like Soul June, based out of Korea. It's really, really nice. I listen to it a lot of times, and it's in the audio library. The other ones that are legally stable, no copyright, worldly free, means that doesn't mean, and those songs and musics are literally ones on, they don't state YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, blah blah blah, background, whatever, friendly. It just says royalty and no copyright. So this individual's got a hair up his butt, and he's on YouTube. He's got a channel, and his comments are turned off. So it's obvious as to why. So no, I will not be using anything with that sound. Any of his, I went through a few of his songs because I wanted to hear. And so that way I know if I hear it, I don't want to give it no airtime. And I will share that with y'all down the road. And it's called Reverse. You can look it up on YouTube music. No airtime. See, when I find that people are just stubborn and greedy and they have this stuff going on, if I'm not here to make monetary off of your little musics. All right. So do yourself a favor. All right, throw it. And I have and the beautiful thing is I do have an email, a website now. I just haven't put it up yet because I gotta wait until I get things going in a roll, merch and stuff like that. Which is, I think y'all appreciate it more than anybody else. Well, everybody else will like it because there's a lot of people in the flat Earth community, but it's more than that. And nobody's got it because I'm an artist. I mean, you don't have my ideas, trust me. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what they are. You know what I mean? By any means necessary. And I just want to drop that. Well, what we're going to do is I want to get into I want to get into reading Heaven's Bearers. She just loves that. Yes. And exposing an exposition. And then we'll read a little bit of Terra Infinita. And I got to run out again. So I wanted to get in here and do that. And Rondo's on his way here. Did he pop in? Because he's on the, you all right? What's going on, brother? Well, I know you'll be leaving a little later on, but you'll get here, yeah, 5, 6, about 5 hours, something like that. Yo, Trump, what's happening? I'm gonna go ahead and get into reading this. And I'm only gonna read a few chapters because I want to make sure. And this is not stated in any of them. So it's been certain songs or music within these, which I showed y'all earlier, which shouldn't happen, but some people, they get a little information, they learn a couple of little things, and they run a truck. If I had music, I'd be like, everybody play it. Spotify, blah, blah, blah. And you better believe people would be downloading it if I had some music out, but I'm confident like that. This one is stuck on lights, shadows, moving in the shadows. You see shadow work, right? Shadow work don't mean evil, people. So, and like I said, I work with the earth. Bottom line, people use it for bad. For every action, there's an opposite. All right, so let's get it. This is Heaven Bearers, the Great Reset of 1834 and the Mud Flood. I'm not gonna lift it up, and it's by, okay? Because there's a few books with this label. Malcolm is at the office. He is in charge of the entire city. All right, this is Malcolm, her old man, of Montreal. And his responsibilities include making sure that all buildings have been repurposed, what we've come to call Canada today, okay, and are in full use. Things need to run smoothly, and everything must have a predetermined function. He has hired engineers, and Henry is being one of them, who need to draw up the plans, fake construction photos, and thus create a false narrative and a new history of how the city was built. Does that sound familiar, people? Okay, this new narrative needs to be airtight, and that's when we're talking about exposing the expedition. To see how the books go together, I didn't know it. I read stuff, and I look at small print, and it comes along, and I say, okay, well, some of these kind of go together. Does it mean that this is based upon fact? Like I said, this is romance, and I mean, it states it right in the front, fantasy and romance, okay? So anyway, the new narrative needs to be airtight. Dates, all right, must be included. Architects must be invented, and there can be no contradictions. It is quite the task, but they have finished most of it. This is what will be taught in the education homes that were set up 5 years ago. All human children will be required to attend them from the age of 3 on a semi-permanent basis and from the age of 5. It will be permanent and compulsory. They will not be taught about the heaven bearers, as officially they do not exist. They merely sit behind the curtain in the shadows and rule over all living beings on earth. They decide, and is that the custodians? Decide, and is it just one? Is it Nimrod? Is it Beelzebub? Is it Shemzaz? I mean, who knows? All right. Side of the laws that they tell the newly created tribunals to enforce them. No questions may be asked. There is no such thing as a democracy, but it must appear as if the notion of freedom or all the equality exists. I wanted to state this. In Brazil, day before yesterday, I believe it was it a week ago? Brazil pulled the restraints from its gun laws. And are you aware that homicides dropped 27% in that first week alone? I don't want to get to other states. And then these liberal states with these fake politicians, you see how they're moving, right? And it is a reason. There's a clear reason. Anyway, But it must appear as if the notion of freedom and equality exists. The Tartarians are permitted to have children, but any children born from a Tartarian couple will be removed from their care at the age of 1 year or sooner, depending on the circumstances, and sent to the foundling homes to be reprogrammed and educated. This is law. The Tartarians have a strong will, and some are born with memories that they inherit from their parents. It is essential that these memories be erased soon after birth. Does that allude to the caps on the X chromosome and the introduction of a nuclei in the DNA for worship to be given the pretense of a false religion? Okay, let's move on. A couple more paragraphs and we're done. The heaven bearers are a sadistic species. They are greedy, and their only purpose and goal is to make money, to gain power and control, and become the ultimate rulers. They find pleasure in nothing else. This is what they did before they came to Earth. This is what they have done for the almost 800 years, and they find a new host, take over and kill all who disagree with their leadership, who disagree with their leadership, strip their new home of all its resources, and then move on to find their next host. Their method is unsustainable, and their greed, their need to make more and more money is what destroys them each and every time. So we remember in the book of Custodians, and we also remember what we're going to read, like I said, Terra Infinita, right? Excuse me. So anyway, they're destroyed. They wandered directionless for 16 years in open space until one day an opening in the firmament appeared over the flat earth, and they discovered their next host. They deceived the Tartarian people, and more importantly, Mother Nature, and conquered them easily. Tartarians are smart and have invented many things that the heaven bearers can never replicate. They, however, don't make very good slaves. They aren't particularly strong, physically speaking, and they have very strong will. Let me read that again. They, however, don't. Tartarians are smart and have invented many things that the heaven bearers can never replicate. They, however, don't make very good slaves. They aren't particularly strong, physically speaking, and they have very strong will. And many did not follow the orders of the heaven bearers, and they were killed as a consequence of that. The heaven bearers quickly realized they will need to create a new race of slaves that can mine the earth and all of its minerals in order to create a frequency strong enough that will open the firmament. Once they have achieved this, they will be in complete control, and they may come and go as they please. The biggest challenge thus far was the repurposing of the building, and that is now the church and the creation of a religion. Tartaria had no religion. No one attended church once a week, nor did they read from a book and pray. This did not mean that there wasn't a higher power. He was just not worshipped. Azrael wanted a sure way to create a measure of control over the humans. Azrael, and together with the other heaven bearers, namely Baird, Enid, Kismet, Neam, Samira, these are names that are insertions, and Ard, they found, those last two names are in, found the ultimate control through religion. They managed to escape the carnage of Plurth, just barely, and split up the newly discovered Earth into 7 pieces, continents, right? Which they call continents. And I'm going to read this part, and we're going to close this up and move on. Azrael rules over North America, Baird over South America, Enid over Australia, Kismet over Africa, Naam over Europe, and Samira over Asia, and Ard over Antarctica and the unclaimed islands. Well, she's kind of letting the goose out of the bag in the stories, at least, right? Whew. Okay, we'll pick that up. Chimara. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's get on with exposing exposition. And I'm kind of hungry too. It's kind of weird. Yes. And we was at the Central Court of 1904. Right. Okay. Now, way too far. I didn't get all this. How did that happen? I marked it, right? Hold on, guys, because this one plays in a lot of stuff. Because I know we was looking at the Illinois building. Excuse me. No, way. What in the world? My apologies, guys. That's what happens every time you jump on the books. That's why I need to put them up instead of having them on the ground, like right there beside me. Okay. Okay. I went too far. Okay. This is yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Where's it at? It's up top. Nope. There's one more page, I believe. The Liberal Arts Building. We didn't cover that. And see, you don't have to get your cat and your dogs or whatever you want to call them. I don't like calling them cats and dogs, but you don't have to get upset with them, okay? So I know we did for what is Chicago, blah blah blah. We went through that, Central Europe, blah blah blah. We'll create the scratch and make it look like ancient Rome, blah blah. We covered all that. We got up around the Court of Honor. That's what was in that chapter 4. My apologies, everybody. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know I marked a page up. Oh, never mind. No, I didn't. No, we didn't. Because no, we went. That was me reading. I did. My apologies, Alexander. This is my mistake. That was me. I continued to read on again, and I don't know why I didn't remember that. Anyway, here we are. We're still in chapter 3. We're on our way to chapter 4. My apologies, little buddy. He's looking at me like fool. Duh. That's how he's looking at me, y'all. Anyway, right? Okay. Either this was because when we finished off, we got through with the mud. My emphasis in parentheses, the screw on work to accomplish this task, the streets were filled in, and by means of jack screws. Remember the left thing, which never really happened. Okay. Either this is a work that rivals building the Giza pyramids, or this is just a giant fairy tale. I do not see an in between with this. We are to accept that an entire city was built on a swamp with giant buildings that would require massive foundations, only to realize they were built. Yeah, they were built on a swamp, so needed to be raised. In fact, the streets as well, all while diverting the river and building new canals. Does anyone really believe this? Think of trying to do that today. It would be a major undertaking that might not be possible, even with all of our modern machinery. Yet Chicago could do this in 1858. Again, go ask your local building contractor to raise up, say, a small city like South Bend, Indiana, population 100,000. See what they tell you from. Okay, what? Question mark. To do. You have that don't even he messed up right there. Do you have 50 years and $2 billion? That is their explanation that would probably be given. I have only found 2 photographs of this work being done, and mostly all that exists of it are only poorly made drawings. They had photography at this time. There are a lot of photographs from the 1850s available. Floods in California and Civil War dead were photographed. To which would not something like this, something that had never even been attempted in human history, not warrant interest for a couple of photographs? One of the only photographs I could find on it can be found here. Hashtag footnote. And it's at https //www. classicchicagomagazine.com/moving space building space with space George Pullman /. As you can see, it is basically the same view as the drawing presented on the previous page. So if you want to look that up, go back, slow it down, or pause it and write it all down and look at it. The drawing may in fact have been created directly from this photo, yet they are totally dissimilar. The drawing has it made out like hundreds of jacks are lifting the building, which I showed y'all 4 days ago, off a very flat and level street ground. But in the original photograph, I see nothing being raised and no jacks. Instead, it seems like the building has been dug out and they are trying to lay a foundation of some type beneath it. What can only be described as a pile of dirt is next to it, but that could have also been a sinkhole, now filled in, that they tried to keep the building from falling into. One more strange mention on this topic. There is a suggestion that a specific engineer, John C. Lane, it's good to look up, John C. Lane, and I'll go back and read the other one. Let me go back and read this again. So anyway, the footnote, all right, and this is a reference or a source of information. Bancroft, right? So we're going to go https semicolon / www period classic CLASSIC Chicago, all one word here, CHICAGO, so that's 2 C's, magazine. So that's Classic Chicago Magazine dot or period com. I would say dot because period means n. .com / moving space, moving MOVING space buildings, as in plural, not singular, space with, as to one with another, space George alludes to a name, George of the Jungle, space Pullman, a name or device / Now back over here, John C. Lane was a key element in making this work. He was supposed to have learned his building lifting techniques in San Francisco. Y'all need to look him up. Yeah, I already did. It's charging right now. It was at like 5%. In 1853. What? As we will see further on, San Francisco that was a big question too. San Francisco should have only just been founded in 1847 because they came upon the isle in 1830 to fight the Amazonians there. And quite fun though. There should be a few gold miners and cowboys there, with a few simple shacks to accommodate them. What buildings are there that would need to be raised? There should not be any buildings at all there, but some standard historical sources to claim there were buildings long before 1847 and quite spectacular ones. Now, let's go back to this. This is what I love right here. Techniques, listen, learned his building lifting techniques in San Francisco in 1853. What? As we will see further on, San Francisco should have only just been founded in 1847. There should be a few gold miners and cowboys there, with a few simple shacks to accommodate them. Question. What buildings are there that would need to be raised? There should not be any buildings at all there. Mudslides? Y'all know how San Francisco is in mountains, just like Oregon and Washington State, right? And I told y'all California is an island. They surrounded the island. I've read the story when they pulled into the channels first and then they came up on the shores and they fought them inwardly. There was no escape. There's no to Mexico, and that's not part of Mexico. That's why I'm so sick and tired of that shit. And they go, well, what about when you go to Tijuana? How many of y'all have driven to Tijuana? I'm just asking. I have. Several occasions back in the 80s. Anyway, when one views the 8 photographic parts that make up a panorama, I went over a bridge every time, panorama of Chicago taken from the dome of the courthouse in 1858. In parentheses, the entire panorama can be seen at the Chicagoology, website, and a parentheses. Things burnt so easily in the 1871 fires, yet I see almost all brick and stone, in parentheses, just what we will find in the aftermath of the fire photos, end of parentheses. Secondly, note that this entire area, again in parentheses, along with the 8 other photos, is supposed to have been raised 10 feet during this period. I hope you are beginning to see just how crazy this idea of raising the city is when one specifically views what was supposed to have been lifted up. Are y'all starting to get the gist of some of the things that are being expressed? That's why I say it's good to travel. We can read people's stuff. There's incorrections, there's all kind of stuff, and people are approaching things when they write from their narrative. That's why it's important to travel around your land instead of being stuck on the same block, this, that, and other, to open your mind. The Shaolin monk in New York has this thing about being still, allowing yourself to be calm, to relax. It doesn't mean not to be prepared. And I am just reading this because, for one, it's great entertainment. It is abysmal source of entertainment. And can I sit here and say this is all factual? I'm not here to do that. I'm here to say, look, there are plenty of books out there. Go and purchase them and enjoy. Partake in the festivities of reading and allowing your mind to see other things. I've been saying this stuff since the 80s. I said, well, you know what? Seeing how people didn't want to do nothing, talk about it, ever since I started talking about Tartaria, especially 8 years ago on the res, 9 years ago on the res, and then back in New York, going damn near 18 years ago. And then when I came home, 2001, 2000, well, I mean, was it 99, 2000 when I came back up north to Jersey? And when I was in Florida, people thought I was crazy talking about Tartaria, pointing out buildings, going to visit taking people who didn't even know about the gopher wood trees that only grew here in America. And in the Library of Congress, showing 3 of my friends that it only grew here. And they went on a literal, I mean, with purpose, chopping down over 600 million gopher wood trees and spruce and red, big trees, bigger than, almost as big, and if not bigger than redwood, where you just now see swamp in Georgia. That was not all swamp. Florida is not a swamp. I know people who had houses that had basements, but the water table is shifted and something's different. But nobody wants to hear it out. So I'm going to read this a little bit more and close this one out and go on to Terra Infinita and read a couple paragraphs in there. Well, one. Okay. A few paragraphs ago, I made emphasis on... Let me go back to this. Let me see if that picture was in this book or was it... Oh, this is the one that I showed you the other day. This fictional picture where it shows the people lifting up with 600, lifting up a building. It's pure nonsense. It's fabrication. It's horse bookie. Okay. A few paragraphs ago, I made emphasis on one word of Bancroft's book, mud. This is but a throwaway line in Bancroft's writing, but it may be a direct reflection that the city was covered in mud. There is a group of current researchers of something called the mud flood. They have the theory of a worldwide burying of cities in mud from the period 1700s to 1850s. It seems likely to me that Chicago in the 1850s was not using a workforce to raise the buildings from a swamp, but rather to dig it out of what may have been a river of mud that buried much of it. No matter, the story of raising all the buildings of Chicago is covering up something. In parentheses, no pun intended, end. And that is, again, why this examination of the World's Fairs is so important. Something is very wrong with our history of this period of time. And every part of it that we can uncover might finally take us to the next key step to knowing what really happened to the world. Okay, and we'll get into fires next, and we're going to end it right there. And this time I'm put it on the right. I know where I'm at in the other part because it looks like from one of a better piece of chocolate than that on the book right there. So I know exactly where it's at. All right, we're going to get Terra Infinita. Excuse the sunlight. I don't want to close the shade and all that. I just want to keep on reading. All right, so extraterrestrial world and their civilizations. A story told by the woman who was born in the lands behind ice walls. Now, everything I'm reading there's only certain points and parts in it that allude to something. Now, when I read this, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Though it doesn't say fiction or fantasy or this, that, and other, regardless of what I think, personally, all right? Remember, I'm going to assert certain things. I'm going to speak on certain things, okay? I'm going to give you a diorama of my ideology and my opinions. So anyway, we're going to go on to chapter 3, the land. No, did you do this one too and I didn't pay attention? Oh, my goodness. We went through that and we went through. Okay, here we go. So, we did the custodians, right? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. No, okay, that's where we're at. Land of the custodians. And then we'll get to the Anunnaki side. That's where we're at. My apologies. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Black Wild Indian? What's going on? What does that say? Black Wild Indian. Okay. Yeah, stop calling yourself black, brother. Information. Trust me on it. This parasitic race, as we briefly... Yeah, because I was showing y'all what it looks like and how dark it is around it. Now, that is not to give some kind of illusion or something. I don't know, but it's pretty, pretty dark. So This parasitic race, as we briefly indicated in the first chapter, are beings that base their technology on attack and defense weapons. I think I did read this. Using all their potential in the discovery, colonization, and exploitation of other lands, as well as the beings they can find. I think I did read this. The beginning is unclear and full of questions. There are theories among the giants where it is said that the custodial race was attacked by some other race that did not even come from this great dome, and that they merged with the locals to create a great force that later gave origin to the custodians. Okay, with this would explain the reason for their great development over other races that were still in their infancy, trying to survive within the circles. The custodians, it is said, were the first to leave, to leave their world and advance on their way to the others, with great destructive and colonizing power, having reached each of the worlds and tried to explore around the known end of the worlds. While they have been defeated on at least two known occasions by two completely different races, it is certain that they are also vengeful and that if they have not yet tried again, they soon will. The custodians, as the only race, were the ones who attempted to enter the celestial lands that very little is known. These lands are the most mysterious of all the known worlds, and while all or almost all the races existing today are aware of this place, very few dare to want to penetrate it. The story goes that humanity, in a way, comes from these lands, and that each of the humans have the source of life. I did read this energy, so-called soul, that comes from these lands. Therefore, the human destiny is to confront the custodians. That whatever is done, the great clash will be inevitable. You're damn right. I mean, this goes in lieu to about several other books and readings that I've been doing and stuff I've researched online, and it alludes to this. And if you want to equip it to the Torah, Christianity, and how they may have displayed it or laid it out to promulgate a delay, there's a possibility. I'm only going to read the book, and you can take it from there. My own interpretation and my inserts or inputs are only mine, not to influence or sway you in any way. You must research this stuff on your own. Okay. Although it has already been tried and the great forces between humans and custodians have collided with in parentheses, with the help of the Anakim, giants, and others, and history will surely repeat itself again in these lands. For that reason, we are very aware of everything that happens here. Any opportunity to free humanity will be used to the fullest. Also, we cannot make the mistakes of the past. Otherwise, it is possible that now we may never have another. It sounds like I read it, but some of these words are sounding different. Opportunity. For each reset, the security becomes stronger, and I did read this, and the human standard in living becomes less and less free. The humanity, I hate that word. Y'all know what it means to me. But you gotta remember, I'm reading this, okay? That is living now, which means a beast, okay? That is living now is nothing like that of my ancestors in these same lands, nor that of my ancestors to the previous one. Each reset is worse, stricter, with less freedom and greater manipulation. We escaped from these lands during the Great War. Against them, the giants helped us to form a large block and confront them before. Everything got out of control. Unfortunately, when the hard defeat came, we knew that everything was going to get worse for those born here. Besides, they know that many escaped and that we would be in danger be a danger to all the manipulation and lies in these lands that they spread and control. Now, doesn't that go back to a couple of books I read before, as far as the story, whether it be the Heavens Bearers, questions, and Navigate Who Crossed the Walls, even in, where's it at? The Book of Enoch and the Book of Giants. All in the Book of Giants is so much in relation, and Flatlanders in the beginning, in the first several chapters, when 5 chapters, excuse me, especially when it talks about Negro the Mountain, the giants and the pygmies. When I pointed out to people who didn't even know it from Louisiana that there was a tribe of pygmies there, that for some reason, if you don't go to the Mississippi Gazette or whatever it was called, 1800s, that nobody would have knew it. I got a lord. That's just too much light in my face, even on the screen. There we go. That's good. And I got to run out. I got to hurry to get this done and run out, guys. I'm not meaning to rush. Okay. Okay. So I read this before. And it's good to read it again. All right. It would look, It would be difficult to generate another new great Tartary with all the free technology and the great cities that we are able to forge. The truth is that we had the hope that victory and freedom would finally be ours, but by those things of destiny, we did not achieve it. We know that it was very close, but it is also true that defeat would bring more misery to a new humanity. The risk was very high, and the babies who are less than 7 months old are left at the disposal of the custodians in these lands, who, with the technology, take them little by little to a new beginning. That sounds like something we just read. Now, I just happened to go to what was said to be one of the original boarding schools, and it was down in Florida, uh, where Ripley's Believe It or Not is. Anyway, I went down there, walking back there, drinking, eating empanadas and or pasteles, or yeah, pasteles, and drinking Coors Light. Me and my ex-wife, and we saw this little thing, and it was all this stuff built over it, and it was said the first and original little school, and yes, little Negro children. Those are the faces. And I had to go in, and it was about 2 doors down from a beautiful cigar rolling place. All those cigars were fabulous. Anyway, as far as the Cubano, run for money. And it was small and tedious. In Spain, supposedly they said, which I doubt very seriously. And you got the fort down there, all that, which is Tartarian as well. Oh, yes. The walls, the thickness, everything is immense. Yeah, if y'all know what I'm talking about, I can't remember exactly where it was at, but like I said, Ripley's Believe It or Not, it's down there. You make a right and you go down the strip, and it's it's a beautiful thing. Anywho, I want to insert that, and then the other stories allude to it being up north, New York, so-called now Canada, which that there was never separated, and also Virginia, which I believe to be a crock of horse manure. Virginia and the Carolinas, pure horse manure. All right. It was nothing but great war. That's all, and betrayals. Great wars and betrayals, left and right. Unbelievable. The number of us here were just phenomenal. We outnumbered them. It was like walking into China. I'm serious. Anyway, this beginning is sudden and in various parts of the known continents. So there will always be a part that will not have parents, grandparents, and so it will be until forgotten. And I've talked and conversed with people who have stated that he found the family doing genealogy, they do the DNA. I'm like, I just go like this, okay. And then they state how, they found their grandma and her history goes back to this place. And I'll be wanting to say to them, a lot of it's fabricated. I learned that when I was in England. Yes, my pale skin brothers and sisters, a lot of your history is fabricated AF. Yes, it is. Once the number they set is reached, they will begin to manipulate the human to take them on the path they have decided. The vestiges of a past life will be intermingled as their own, even if the human of that time cannot reproduce it nor have the necessary tools. Nothing will be questioned as long as everything can be demonstrated by the great leaders or media, scientists, historians, scholars, celebrities, and all kinds of fictitious prestige that they will invent depending on what stage of development the race is in. Yeah, I didn't read this. The technology will be delivered in small, I think I read a part that sounded like this, small installments until it can reach the level that is also previously established by the leaders. Whoa, the technology will be delivered in small installments until it can reach the level that is also previously established by the leaders. The custodians are arrogant beings who detest the human being. For them, the human being is a horrible being who smells bad and does not deserve any freedom. The custodial leaders are really hostile and always were hostile to our race. That is why, maybe I did. That is why they control it. But they also do not allow anything to get out of the pre-established control. They would even carry out a reset before knowing that at least a single human could escape. The leaders many times met with the intentions, of intention. The leaders many times met with the intention of eliminating the human race, but there was much debate about it, especially for the tasks that are carried out here, that would bring much discussion among the same custodians. Plus, there is a small part that has great relationship with the leaders. Many are part of lodges, military or politicians who come to have direct contact with them, and were rewarded with their passage to other lands. For example, the existing colony in the lands of Mars. Okay, I didn't. The story of the last reset, where my grandparents were able to escape along with my mother, who at that time was a baby, was due to the Great War that took place in these lands more than 250 years ago. But on alert, this race who thought they dominated these lands with ease until the union of giants and humans really shook their power. In the war, it is said that one of their most important leaders died at the hands of the giants and humans. And this also caused that the new human beginning in these lands, that's what caused it, with babies of a few months, was carried out under strict control and manipulation. It is what we are seeing in the current days and what we will continue to see in the near future if things do not change. The custodians are carnivores for the most part. Although they can really eat all kinds of food, do they eat human flesh? I will come back to this question later. I think it is worth talking about. They know agriculture well, being pioneers and experts in the field, and something they inculcate and educate the human after each reset to carry out these tasks of agriculture and animal husbandry, so that they can then increase their population as fast as possible. They receive pleasure from a human fear or sadness. All that negative energy can be absorbed by them, that they really end up enjoying it. That is why it is common to see great sacrifices in ancient civilization or great tragedies. The thirst for human blood, they enjoy these sacrifices. In many stories, we can find that they feed on this. They reached a great development in the modification of the climate, and it is common that they create great walls of ice around the colonized lands. This they begin to use in the last times, since before they had not reached this development. The walls serve them as a great shield to be able to protect or enclose even more the colonized races, in this way it is very difficult for them to escape, even when they have to leave some worlds by necessity to go in search of another. So we're going to leave it at that. And next will be The Lands of the Anunnakis. I've read the book a couple times. I'm sitting here, that's why I'm conflicted. Did I read that? No, I'm reading this all over for you guys again. Me, personally, I believe there's a lot of drip draft. I love how it's well put together and formulated. Quotations, punctuations, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I love how it flows. It gives you something to look at. It kind of brings you here and it brings you over there and it pulls you back and pushes you forward. And that's really why I enjoy reading so much of this material for you guys. It is something that can open your eyes at other possibilities and things that you see around you. If you look at how things are speeding up, why have you ever questioned the possibility? And we can allude to the book. I just wanted to draw upon that because it can give you, for those who don't see, because we don't want to run around talking about we got one who can see. The reality of that, they know. The thing is, it's what you're doing with it. The part in the other book where we were speaking on, I was speaking on it verbatim from the book, they are weak physically, somewhat. That depends. And see, the story must be in a direction. So I don't want to allude to something that's irrelevant to many. I want to say, what do you think as far as that time? What do you believe? What do you find could be fiction or fact? These are great tablets for jumping off to look at certain things in different directions. You dig what I'm saying? And I find it very beneficial. It makes me want to look back at the Mud Flood, one book, but I don't want to read the other ones because there's so many books coming and so many books that those books will go with, because I've got plenty, y'all. Y'all really don't know. And this is my own little vestige of information. But just know that I will continue to read the material. I will just use that music. I'm going to show you right quick. What, can I flip this around? I believe, yes, I can. I'm going to show you the music I was playing. So that way you have a little insight as to what it was. I'm going to have to pause it. So this is audio library, and it tells you in messages and all that good stuff, excuse me, that this is the music that they prefer you to use, even though the other one was copyright free as well. See right there? Yes. Yes. I know it's a bunch of change up there, but yes. Audio library plus. Waves are beautiful only when they break, soul, journal, free, copyright, blah, blah, blah. And it's very good. And if you want to know, you just go right here. For those who don't know, this is the channel, Audio Library, which I'm subscribed, obviously, plus official. Yet you go back, you just go out of it, and you go to this, free songs, background free songs, chill, blah, blah, blah. And that's what it's for. It's for backgrounds and all that good stuff, all right? So I just wanted to share that with you. It's for content creators. And I guess people are saying, I don't see myself as that, but they're saying you are a content creator because this is what you're doing. And I guess I am. So I'm going to use the stuff that they have available for content creators. And when you type it in as well in the search thing, that is what pulls up. And it's the audio library. And there's tons of it. You've got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, that's all this is for. All this is for angry music, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Free music for YouTube, aesthetic, chill backgrounds. So this is in case they get a little hair up their butt, which I know they won't. They're pretty good. I've chatted with them. They're great people I've dealt with. Sad music, they got it all. And it's all for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, the whole thing. And it's from 30 to 100 to 10,000. Wow, that one's got 10,000. Oh, I don't even know. I could probably play that and leave for a month. God, dog. And they got 209. That'd be more than enough. But the thing is, if that's what y'all want to do, there's a big library and it had tons of music to utilize. And they have the other things as far as Western, this, that, and other. Now, I just want to share that with you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. If you have any questions you want to ask, you go right ahead. I've got to run back out to the library. To the library. And then I heard they have some color stuff there because I really want to make these maps. Sister hit me up. She's like, Red, guess what? We got some color ink in, but I don't know if it'll print on the paper you want to use. So I'm going to go and see, and I got to stop by the post office. Okay, and cheers. I respect and I love you all. I don't want to lose the page when I enjoy reading to you all, and I love the open mics. And yes, I'm going to set one up. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to have Westside, Rondo, and Traumahawk in the building. And they can sit around on their platforms. I can clear the table off. I got models and stuff on the table. And we can sit around, round table, eating something, relaxing and everything. And I think this is going to be an excellent topic. We'll have the four of us, and anybody else want to come in, will be welcome. I like the way this is moving. You dig what I'm saying? And I think it could be beneficial to everybody. Hey, Gray Wolf, what's cracking? What's going on, family? You just popped up. And a lot of people know how I feel about black and white. I don't recognize it. People around here tell you, nah, he red, nah, you know. And they'll still utilize those terms amongst themselves or whatever, but no, you know my name. And some, the simple slide in when people are ignorant. It doesn't mean a bad word when they just don't know. They say, yeah, my cousins have black. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah, you've lived a lot long enough. So I'm going to assist you in coming out that line unless you're comfortable being there. But yeah, I don't know what that is, bro. Some of them attempt to acquit it with how I look. Okay, well, you do. No. Because I know a lot of y'all haven't researched not one bit of history. You're going on libations of lies. No. And if you would research real history, you might bump your toe a few times and realize that you need to stop bumping your toe and start accepting the truth a little bit. But other than that, you know where I'm at. I appreciate and love you all. There's any ladies out there watching. respect, love you, my brothers. I'm gonna shut this down and get my ass on the road so I can get back and maybe do a little more reading and see the outcome of this, because like I said, this one right here that I played, I like this one. This is background free music for vlogs. All right, that is what I just played. There's only 20 songs. I didn't plan on getting through the first 2 or 3. I just wanted to set it up for the first 4 or 5 minutes, and that was it. You know what I mean? But this is what they use, and if they were so good, and I'm gonna say this: if they were so good, the AI was so good at pulling out the songs, they would put up a list of the music, which they did. They selected the person they think, because I looked at the dates when the music was created. I'm like, that's kind of close, but it is what it is. Because I had somebody talk to me, convey with me what happened to his channel, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that. That's kind of ignorant. And they say that that's not what can do it, but I don't want that to happen. So I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna allow it, that for them to do that. All right. So I'll see you guys later on. I respect and love you all. And besides that, I got some stuff I got sweet potato burgers in the fridge. I don't want a sweet potato I want a mushroom burger. So, mushroom with the chickpeas. And so I'm going to pick me up 1 or 2 of those to pop in some coconut oil, fry up with my biscotti, what's called, what's that bread called? Not potato. I don't want all that starch and stuff. It's like a 20 grain burger bun. It's no corns. It's organic. Hopefully they got it over at Big Dave's. That's what it is. All right. So I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Mad love and respect.